All my life I felt I was born to be great. I had to do something that would change the world. I still don't know what it is, and I probably never will.
Welcome to another episode of Social Impact Conversations with myself, Fundi Shabalala. Mfana kamsheni, lona ke idonga likamavuso. Social Impact Conversation is a platform and a podcast where we sit with change makers making a difference through their communities, through action, advocacy, and purpose. And today is no different. Today we might be at a different location, but we're still keeping the conversation going. We are at the headquarters of Fundi, and my guest today is Sphiwe Masuku, who is the head of marketing for Fundi.
All my life I felt I was born to be great. I had to do something that would change the
Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you for actually inviting us to your offices, Sphiwe. Before we start this conversation,
Yes.
how are you feeling today?
Okay. I think I'm feeling blessed.
Nice, I love
More
blessed.
than anything, I feel very light. I mean, it's a new week. And happy.
Happy, nice.
Yeah, let's
nice.
just throw it in there.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, very much blessed. I mean, the opportunity to wake up and come to work.
Yes.
And to a place that doesn't feel like work also.
Nice.
It feels, like purpose driven and all of that. So, yeah.
Love that. So with the way you are feeling, what we do here at the Social Impact Conversations, we take the way you are feeling and merge it with our rainbow. So on these rainbow colors, what color would you say best represents the blessed and the grateful?
Pink.
Pink. Okay. Right.
I hope so. Let's get to it.
So let's get to pink.
Okay.
So it's okay. So it says pink speaks about insight and ethical leadership.
Okay.
For change makers, pink reflects deep reflections, ethics, and moral responsibility. It speaks about making valued-based decisions. It speaks about understanding complex social systems, leading with wisdom and not ego. And also, it means that impact leaders must think deeply before acting boldly. Does that align with you?
Yeah, wow. I'm actually getting goosebumps.
We always
Wow,
get
okay,
it right.
okay.
We always get it
Yeah,
right. We always get
Wow,
it right.
okay.
No, I think, yeah, so
Why do
it's...
I feel like you're Googling me?
Could be, you never know.
Okay.
Right, so obviously, we are at a very critical point, within the nation as well. But before we get into this conversation, I just would like you to give me your own personal journey.
Okay.
Who is Sphiwe Masuku, where you come from, and let's take it from there.
Okay. So, Sphiwe Masuku is, I'd say, a young girl, actually, because that young girl is still inside me
Love
somewhere. I was born and bred in Brits, in the Northwest, and, had both parents my entire life. It's a blessing.
Absolutely.
And I went to Tsepahalang Secondary School.
Mhm.
Let's keep primary school for now. And I also went to UJ to further my studies, my tertiary education. Funny enough, when I first registered at UJ, I wanted to be a social worker.
Okay.
So obviously, when you choose certain careers, you get to a point where you reflect with the course, with the work and what it demands. And at the time I felt like, I have problems of my own. I don't think I can carry someone else's problems.
Sure.
Then fast forward, I passed for the first year and then I switched into marketing. I was like, you know what? Now let's go and influence people and see how this world operates. Because obviously every day you walk into a store, your mind is made up that I'm going to buy this.
Yes.
How do we get to that? How do we get to motivate you to stick, to be loyal?
True loyalty.
So I did my marketing and then I also did my honors. I did my honors through Fundi, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Lifelong
Beautiful.
learning is one of our values. So I had an opportunity for Fundi to fund my honors degree, and I completed and I graduated. And yeah, that's who I am in a nutshell.
Yeah, so fast forward, years later, you're on the head of marketing. at
Yes.
Fundi. Right, so for anyone obviously hearing about Fundi for the first time,
Yeah.
right? Who are you and what makes you different from a traditional bank?
Okay, so let me go back to the fast forward part, right?
Yeah.
I think this is very crucial for me to state, right?
Sure.
Fast forward, I started at Fundi as an intern.
Okay.
And obviously, being wanting to know more and become more, I was involved everywhere, everything. I just wanted to know.
Sure.
So that's how I got to be the head of marketing today, because I constantly wanted to grow and learn new things, and I was everywhere.
Sure.
So now let's talk about Fundi. So Fundi was established in 1996 already. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary this year.
Nice one.
But it's such a company, if I may call it that way, or a partner in the society that makes sure that we grow the community,
Sure.
uplift people's dreams.
Sure.
Because that's our brand promise, to enable dreams of our South Africans. But also, it's important that we mention that our biggest group, or maybe there's a group of people called the missing middle. I think it's now a topic everywhere.
Yes.
The missing middle is our frontline staff, right? Every day, your police officers, your nurses, those people make us who we are, the teachers. I'm here, you here, we can speak, we can converse because someone invested in us and taught us how to do that. So these group of people are people that are not qualifying, obviously, for your government funding and all of that,
Sure.
because they're excluded from that.
Yep.
So Fundi has been serving the missing middle with loans since 1996, and we were called EduLoan at the time.
Okay.
And we evolved because we wanted to incorporate more of the student needs. So we then became Fundi. Fundi is an expert, by the way. So we then, into the journey, transitioning from Fundi to from EduLoan to Fundi, put into consideration psychosocial support that student needs, managing funding and distributing funding for students, for the government funding as well, and your Fundi match, your psychometric assessment. There's just a lot that a student needs over and above funding.
Sure.
So yeah.
Wow. All right. So, I think you actually just answered the next following question.
Yes.
Like, we all know Fundi for like student loans, but
Yes.
now you have actually then given us the whole scope of what Fundi does,
Yes.
actually. So, for you, right? Obviously, looking back over
Yeah.
30 years,
Yeah.
what is that one thing that you are actually proud of when you think Fundi? I know you've tapped in that you started.
So the biggest thing that Fundi has done is changing lives.
Changing lives.
Changing communities, changing families, creating and contributing into the future workforce of South Africa. It's more than just a loan. This is a dream enabled. You think about a first graduate in a family. You think about a first graduate in the family to own a car. For some families, that's like a goal, it's a dream that was far-fetched for them. We talk about a parent that thought that it's not possible, and now they have a possibility through Fundi to ensure that they pull through for their kids. So yeah, our biggest, proudest moment is changing lives.
Changing lives.
Yes.
So obviously for the past 30 years, right?
Yes.
What does this milestone of 30 years mean for you, as well as for the people that have literally walked this journey with Fundi?
So for 30 years, what this means for us is that we kept our promise, and we are still going to keep the promise, We are going to still be here the next 30 years.
Yes.
Because these dreams, we all dream, right? And, generations to generations, we only want the best for ourselves,
Sure.
our families, and our community. So what it means for Fundi is that the demand is getting higher and higher, and we also are saying we're going to take the challenge. Going to accept the challenge to also pull through and show up even more.
Sure.
Yes.
Love that. So obviously, I love that you speak about communities, So quite a lot of students, right, are actually facing difficulties currently.
Definitely.
Especially with accessing the funding, accessing obviously accommodation.
Yes.
So how is Fundi and how does the Fundi loan work?
Okay.
And who qualifies for it as well?
Yes. So, I'm glad that you mentioned that students are facing difficulties. They're facing difficulties finding information. They're finding difficulties applying for funding because also they don't know what options are out there.
Sure.
And for us, that was an opportunity and is still an opportunity to do good. So our Fundi loans, as I mentioned before, that we are playing a lot or dominantly in the missing middle cohort. You have to be a government employee, even though we do have your parastatals, your municipalities and all of that, which is a niche of our book, obviously. You have to be a government employee. You shouldn't be under debt review or, you also need to be earning at least 2.5 after deductions, obviously residing in South Africa as well.
Okay.
And also as part of that, because not a typical bank that pays the fees into your bank account, we need you to have a quotation. If it's an accommodation, we need the quotation from the owner of the accommodation. If it's a university, we need a fee statement quotation to show that for your first year it's 50,000 rand. You can only apply for that amount, you cannot add. And obviously it's not always guaranteed that you're going to get the full funds.
Sure.
Obviously your credit profile also, also we are regulated by NCR, to make sure that we're not taking all of your money. There's a cap there, you still need to survive.
Sure.
So in a nutshell, you just need to be a government employee. You need to be earning at least 2.5 after deductions, no debt review, no funny businesses there, and you have to be a South African. That's it.
All right, and then so what does the Fundi loan cover? And also just maybe give me a real life experience of maybe, you can actually use yourself.
Yeah, so lucky for me, it's twofold, right?
Okay.
I'm an ethos beneficiary as well, right? Luckily, none of my parents were part of the missing middle.
Yeah.
So I'm an ethos breed, if I may call it that. And coming to Fundi offered me a bursary, right, as an employee, as part of the training and upliftment, and also ensuring that they contribute and upskill us.
Upskill, sure.
So I got a bursary. So a typical example of someone that comes to Fundi for a loan, you can come to Fundi for registration. If we remember a few years back, fees must fall, also the recent one with the vets incident, so other social influencers also saw an opportunity to help in that space. In January, no one has money, guys. No one has 12K or 6,000 or the 2,000 rand just to pay registration fee. And registration fee is such a big component because for as much as you got an acceptance letter, it doesn't mean anything until you get access into the university. So we do cover registration. We also cover your tuition. Obviously, you're going to write your exams, you need to see your results. Some institutions don't even allow you to, right? They rather communicate past or, not progressed or fail the module or something like that. But you need to see, is it 50, 60? Is it a cum laude?
Yes, absolutely.
So in that space also you find students that have outstanding balances. So they'll be owing in that space. So we do come in as well. You can take up the loan to pay for outstanding balances. You can also take the loan for, when you graduate, some of them have outstanding debt. And when you graduate, you're already looking forward to be a professional, to finding your first job and all of that. And your certificate or your academics are the most important thing you need to present. So some of them don't get it. I know now digitally some institutions do give access to employer and all of that, but it's not all of them. So in that space also still considered outstanding balances. But now let's talk about you still at university.
Yes.
There's blended learning, guys. I mean, COVID taught us that you can work, study anywhere. So students need laptops. Our loan can cover you to get a laptop. Our loan can cover you to get any study essentials as long as for your education. Our loans can cover you for accommodation.
Okay.
Some of these students are coming from the rurals to town, you know.
Yes.
They are all over, and you need a home away from home, which for some it will range between 2.5, 2.7, you know, going up depending on where you are. And parents don't always have that money to just pay the 2.5 for you and home and all of that, so we can take up a loan for that. And yeah.
I love it.
So,
you know, I think you mentioned something very important, you know, connectivity and access to actually, you know, devices, you know, is still a major barrier, you know, for students out there. So I know that there is a Fundi mobile, right? So how does actually Fundi mobile fit into the bigger picture?
So I'm glad you asked that question, right? Earlier on I mentioned that we evolved from Edulong to Fundi.
Yes.
Because we wanted to do more and, you know, support students more. So with the devices, obviously now we have Fundi Mobile and we offer data that doesn't expire. Obviously, as a student, we understand that you don't always have the cash to buy data.
Sure.
And with your traditional data platforms or networks, if you buy a 30-day, at day 30, you're like, why is my WhatsApp not coming through? It's done, it's gone. It doesn't matter whether you used it or not. Used 2 gig out of 5 gigs. So this has now become, you know, a solution for students. And for those that, you know, when I was a student, we used to cross night. We used to walk at night to go to varsity.
Sure.
So when you have data, you have access, because the reason why we're going there is to stay connected. If you have a Fundi mobile and you have a laptop, it's easy for you to remain safe also in your accommodation, in your comfort, and continue going through your lecture slides and all of that.
Sure.
So,
nice. Okay. So obviously there is a lot of conversation right now around digital transformation and AI, especially in the education space, right?
Yes.
What does this shift really mean, especially for higher education in South Africa?
So for higher education, obviously we need to evolve with the rest of the world, right? And I mean for your professors, for your vice chancellors, there's always also finding ways in which, you know, you can do things better and also help students future-proof themselves and upskill themselves for the future, not only for now. But, you know, AI, digital technology, all of these things are just enablers. They enable us to do something. They enable us to deliver. So that's what it's all about, including for Fundi.
Sure, nice one. But do you believe that institutions as well as corporates are ready for this change that is happening right now?
So I think ready could be a big word, but we definitely understand and we definitely know that if we don't embrace it, we'll get left behind. And you getting left behind means then you might not exist in the future. That's a scary reality, because then who is going to come to you and still, you know, carry the hardship of accessing your products, accessing your services when someone else does it on the click of a button on your phone? Like, typical example, the generation now of the new employees, they don't like speaking to anyone. They want to speak to their phones. Right? It's such a insightful trend to watch, you know, to say you need to move with them. Because if you don't, they're going to leave you behind.
Sure.
Love that. What we're going to do, we are still in conversation with the head of marketing at Fundi.
I had to do something that would change the world. I still don't know what it is, and probably never.
Welcome back from the ad break. This is Social Impact Conversations, stories that shape our community. And I'm still sitting with a change maker as well as the head of marketing at Fundi, with Sphiwe Masuku. So just before the ad break, we're actually speaking about the readiness, about if corporates and, corporates as well as institutions, they are ready for the shift that we are going into.
Yeah.
But one thing I think is coming out of this conversation is the Sustainable Development Goals
Yes.
that actually cover Fundi as a whole. You
Yeah.
know, when I think education, we're
Yes.
speaking, the SDG 4,
Yeah.
which is quality
Definitely.
education,
Uh-huh.
and you also think of the SDG 8, which
Yeah.
is decent work and economic growth.
Yes.
So how does Fundi actually align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals?
Perfect. So as you've mentioned, SDG 4 is, direct contribution because, the students require funding for them to get quality education.
Sure.
And we ensure that they gain access. And over and above ensuring that they gain access, we also ensure that they remain so that they stay the course and then, they complete their mission, which is, their career dreams as well.
Sure.
So if you look at it from a quality education, it's such a big impact, not only for the individual, but also for the family,
Sure.
also for the society. And you also mentioned about, professional,
Yes.
we literally are contributing directly for the future workforce.
I love that.
So it's such a beautiful alignment for us to be playing in the space because if you think about all the other SDGs,
Sure.
right? Poverty, you can fight poverty, with your education. If there's one thing that will elevate you is the knowledge and the wisdom.
Yes.
Be it professional or not professional, but knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Love that. Speaking about power, I just want us to tap into a bit of your thoughts around ethical leadership and actually the role resilience plays
Yeah.
in actually leadership.
So, ethical leadership is not a choice. And it's not an option, especially in every professional environment, I would say. For Fundi as well, we ensure that everything that we do and every person and every life we touch, we do it ethically so because we don't want you to be wasting your time on something that's not worthy. But over and above that, the road to greatness must be clear.
Sure.
So in 30 years of, enabling dreams and having systems and having to, enable billions of students and also having to, allocate billions of rands to students day in, day out, ensuring that they eat, their cash pocket is there, their accommodation pocket is there with all our partners. Integrity and resilience is one thing that you need every day. You're dealing with vast groups of people.
Sure.
You're dealing with students. You're dealing with universities. You're dealing with management. You're dealing with landlords. All these partners in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
At the back end, you have also systems that are making sure that this vehicle called Fundi is operating effectively.
I love that.
So.
Yeah, so you are very good with the SDG 17, where you speak partnerships for goals.
Yes.
I love that.
We can't do it alone.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, when you do it alone, you only see here. You only do so much. I think that's one of the other reasons why from the profitable business, if I may call it that, Fundi, then we have a foundation. Because we understand that not everyone is going to form part of the Fundi law. But it doesn't mean that they are not deserving for an opportunity. So FundiFoundation is there to enable those that cannot even go the mile with the banks, with us, but still they deserve an opportunity.
Sure.
So,
That's amazing. That is really, really amazing. And I know that Fundi is actually hosting a digital transformation summit. This is actually happening on the 6th and the 7th of May.
Yes.
Sure, you're speaking digital transformation.
Yes.
Let's tap into that.
So back to your question earlier on about are corporates and institutions ready? And my answer to that was ready is possibly a big word.
Yes.
What I'm going to say now is we are all transitioning.
Yeah.
We are all in process of acknowledging that there has to be some changes. And you know, digital, I know it's a buzzword, and AI is a buzzword. It's not foreign to our processes and our systems, right? What this means is that it's an enabler. It's going to enable us to help our students quicker. It's going to enable us to make sure that our processes are slick, going back to integrity, you know, going back to ensuring that there's no gaps. You know, the more things we can avoid and the quicker we can serve the community, the better. So this conversation is very important for the institution because SDG 17, as you mentioned, we are for partnerships.
Yes.
So we need to understand how our partners are adapting and how the new normal looks like for them and how that aligns with our new normal digitally and as we transform.
Sure. So while we are still on this shift of, you know, digital transformation, tell us more about this digital transformation summit happening on the 6th and the 7th of May.
So for the summit, we have a few thought leaders, and that includes vice chancellors of a few institutions that will be hosting on the day. We also have digital AI experts also that are going to be part of this conversation. And you know, we hope that this conversation is an eye-opener for more people and entities out there, and not just for institutions, because it's here, it's practical, it's part of our day-to-day. And also, you know, to help the community understand that AI is not ChatGPT.
Yes.
You know, there's more to it. There's more, there's chatbots, you know, are also forming part of that. The system automations, you know, there's a lot. There's quite a lot. And also the careers that go with. So,
sure. I know that the summit is actually framed around the question integrate or ignore.
yes.
That is like, it's such a direct question.
Yeah.
Why this framing and why now?
Because we all need to face reality. As we said before, if you get left behind, there's consequences to that. And the consequences are not nice for everyone. Things are changing.
Sure.
Texas didn't see Uber coming, you know, and it's a constant struggle every day. If you look at your network providers, they never saw WhatsApp coming. You know, we don't use voice anymore. You on data, WhatsApp. You can even video call.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's around that to say, you know, sometimes you need to look forward. You can't ignore. It's part of your presence. It's part of your day-to-day. And if, you know, other people say ignorance is a bliss. So if you choose to ignore, it should be by choice.
Sure.
And those choices have consequences. So we choose to transform. We are definitely transforming and we are integrating.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned that you'll be hosting a few of the university chancellors. So who is actually going to be part of the conversation, and what can actually people expect from this webinar? Yeah.
So for this webinar, predominantly on the 7th, right? We do have a couple of vice chancellors. We have a vice chancellor from Venda, who's going to be part of the discussion.
Sure.
We also have a chancellor from Rosebank, newly appointed, I think, in her role. And we also have, you know, Prof. Mosa also, who are coming to, you know, to the conversation for the panel discussion. Literally, they'll be taking us through, you know, in their own aspects, in their own universities, what does it look like? And hopefully they will take it further to how does it look like in a day-to-day life.
Yeah, make it personal to the people.
Yes.
Right, so you know, who should actually then register, obviously for the live stream for this Digital Transformation Summit?
So I'd say it's in the best interest of all of us to understand what's happening and, you know, these trends and what does it mean for me as an individual. So I'd say, you know, again, knowledge is power. Equip yourself with more than just what you want to hear today.
Sure.
So if you are in a space where you are trying to understand what does the future look like in terms of careers also, I think it's worth a listen. If you are an expert in a university that wants to understand actually how do I actually maneuver around this, I think it's for you to also attend. Speaking to corporates, you know, corporates, I mean, some of these processes are not far-fetched or, you know, that different.
Sure.
For a corporate also, I mean, it's going to be beneficial for them to join and understand from, you know, either middle management, top management, you know, to see how it's being done out there and the possibilities of, you know, following some of the trends. Obviously, it cannot be copied from end to end, but I think everyone,
in the best interest of everyone,
banks, municipalities, universities, we all need to equip ourselves.
Speaking about equipping ourselves, you know, maybe a young future change maker is watching this show and saying, wow, I'm inspired by this conversation with Ms. Sphiwe Masuku. What advice would you give a young change maker out there?
So, a few months ago, I had an opportunity to speak to a few students in one of the private institutions. And, you know, relaying back to my experience and my journey. You know, from varsity, from Breads, who would have thought, you know, that today we'll be sitting here. But also from an intern to, you know, a head. Stay curious. You know, when you are curious, you allow yourself to explore and learn and absorb. So stay curious, want to know more, and want to be more.
All right, I love that. Stay curious. We're going to then, as we're nearing the end of our conversation, we're just going to quickly go on an ad break. And when we come back, I want us to actually close this conversation off with, firstly, I want you to tell me who has inspired you in the industry that you are in. Who's that one person when you look back and say, that person made it for me? And then I want you to tell me about the vision of Fundi, the future vision, and then also in closing, probably, you know, final words around what advice and words of encouragement would you give someone who's trying to study, or, you know, a parent whose child wants to go into study. This is Social Impact Conversations, stories that shape our communities. After the break, please make sure that you like, you subscribe,
All my life I
and
felt I was
comment.
born to be great. I had to do something that would change the world. I still don't know what it is, and
Welcome back.
probably never
Thank you
will
for
find.
making sure that you are still watching this episode. I am sitting with the change maker and the head of marketing here at Fundi, Ms. Masuku. So, you know, just before the ad break, I was asking you, who is that person that has made an impact in your life? And then also, please just tap into the future vision for Fundi.
Wow, that's a loaded question. So, you know, a lot of the times we overlook the fact that we all need someone to give you an opportunity.
Sure.
So for me, it's not a celebrity, it's not a public figure. As, you know, the one person that has seen the light in you and decided to enable and to grow that light. So as my first job, as my first internship, you know, I appreciate the two women that made it happen. And I look up to them every day to say, I want to be there one day.
Sure.
So, you know, when I started at Fundi in the marketing department, there was Ms. Kidumetsi Mulebazi at the time, Nomasiko Sibanda, and I was working closely with these two ladies, and I could see every day how hard they worked.
Sure.
And considering that it was that time of the rebrand, so it's like I started with a new company,
Sure.
and everything was in motion. So to date, I still look at those moments and I still have goosebumps to say, thank God someone else saw the light in me. And, I didn't disappoint also, I showed up. So you always have to show up. Fast forward, let's talk the vision, the Fundi vision, right?
Fundi vision, yeah.
So over 1.8 billion students
Sure.
that we've enabled since, and we are looking forward to going another mile with a lot of the students and the families as well. I mean, we're looking into our data, we see generational growth, and that for us is like such a profound, proud moment. Seeing your dad and your child and your other siblings, and it was like, okay, this is something good. We are doing good every day. So Fundi's vision is, to remain in the education space, play also, social impact again. I know from a loans perspective, we're already in that environment, but also from a foundation perspective, from the partnership perspective, we want to make sure that, this lives and this continues.
Sure.
And we become a brand that is live in every household. When they're thinking success, they should know that Fundi is there.
Sure, love that. So final word, what's that one piece of advice you would give someone listening or watching right now and who is actually considering studying next year or whose child is actually looking into studying next year?
So maybe I'll quote again, if you ignore what's around you, you are actually depriving yourself an opportunity. A lot of the challenges that we have recently is lack of information. But it's not that the information is not there. We just became complacent. We are lazy. We want someone to come and give it to you in your hand. So do your research, look for more things. I mean, a lot of our students or our young or the youth, they have smartphones. They have data. If they don't have the data, you find them there at the corner of that specific, So use that moment wisely. Research. There's also short courses, free courses also that can at least equip you and give you, something to work with and to understand if something is your passion or not your passion. So, don't ignore the fact that there is information out there. Go look for it. Don't come looking for you.
Right, and just as we close this, can you just please define social impact in one word or in one sentence?
Showing up for one another.
Wow.
For another person.
Wow.
Giving a hand to the next person. It's not because you have too much, but that too little you can share.
I love that. Social impact in one word. Showing up for one another. This is how we wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for viewing and for watching. Make sure that you do follow us, you like and you subscribe. This is the Social Impact Conversations, stories that shape communities. With that, till we meet again on the next episode.
All my life I felt I was born to be great. I had to do something that would change the world. I still don't know what it is, and I probably never will, but